Susan Smith. It is Susan Smith, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so the aspects that have intrigued me, shall we say, is I've updated myself and I saw a video. I might post a video in the link actually below if just in case anybody wants to go and watch it for themselves. It's Susan's parole hearing. That was last year. So obviously this is now a few decades later, and it's the way that she performs her remorse that to me was very interesting because it's because you can see it's performative in the sense that there's no tears. The dabbing of the eyes is kind of very similar to the Amber Heard thing where it's all up here or it's down here. Now I don't know about you, but certainly when I cry or when I've seen other people cry and it's genuine tears, genuine heartfelt tears, you're streaming down your face here and your
Yeah.
eyes go puffy and everything just puffs up and like, please don't look at me because your face is just a mess.
Mm.
But
Yeah, no,
we just
it
don't
is.
see that across the spectrum here.
No, it's it would almost be better if she just sort of said, "Look, I'm really sorry. I am sorry for what I did, but I made a poor decision because I didn't want the children anymore, and I handled it really badly." Because at least then there's some integrity behind what she's saying, and because it doesn't matter how remorse, like it actually doesn't matter how remorseful, upset you are. You killed two young children, and from what I read up, she I think she was having affairs with a few people, and one of them she um wanted it to go further, and he had basically broke it off with her because he was just like, I don't want children. So
Mm.
that I don't think she admitted it as such, but they were thinking that was also part of her motivation that
Yeah,
she
I
actually
remember that somewhere being in that story, but I'm aware that the Diane Downs story, I don't know if you know of that woman. She's very, very similar. She murdered her kid, and I don't know if that's what's sticking in my head there and kind of getting the two meshed up. So I don't want to say too much on that, and just in case
no,
I'm
because
wrong.
the thing I don't understand, I don't grasp is how much of it is they because they obviously don't love the children in a way that you and I would understand,
Mm.
right? So how much of it is they had the children and were just like, This isn't what I bargained for," and how much of it is because, and this is going to sound, like people. My sister was showing me dogs today that people need rehoming, and one of the people that was trying to rehome this dog that's about 9 months old, I'd actually just put, "We got the dog and now realise we don't want it," and just like, okay, maybe you should have given it some thought before you got the dog.
Yes.
And don't get me, the dog is a cutie; it's going to have no trouble finding a home. Um, but it's like she had these two children, and and obviously 'cause she's having affairs with other people. There's a point where she's just like, "Well, you two are a problem, and you're holding me back from the life I want." And it's and but then there is maybe a concern about reputation damage or something because the easiest thing would have been to just walk away from them
Mm.
and start a new life somewhere else. But she wants her life, but she doesn't want it with the children.
Well, she doesn't
So
want the consequences of giving them up either.
yeah, this is what I'm saying. So it's just like, is that reputational damage that she's worried about?
Yes. So it's all self-interest. It's all self-interest,
Mm.
which is the interesting thing. So if if I take this into a the context of how a psychologist may look at it. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I'm going to just reiterate this. I'm not. I got some experience. I've definitely got some study experience, but I'm not a psychologist nor am I qualified. So what I'm saying is just
But you've watched a
conversation. I
lot of
just want
YouTube,
to make
haven't you? You've watched a lot of YouTube,
I've
so
done
you're
more than watch
YouTube
YouTube. I've
qualified.
got an A level in criminology and I started a degree in criminal justice. And I've been studying this stuff for decades. Now I watch a lot of YouTube that kind of just affirms what I already knew and the fact that it's
So you're
just
YouTube
people are becoming
qualified,
more
is what I'm
aware of it.
saying. Yeah, but
I've got YouTube
I consider
PhD, yeah, of
myself
course.
YouTube certified on many subjects.
Yeah, the YouTube PhD. I'm now an expert because I've watched 200 hours of
I've got
someone
my
talking about
10,000
it.
hours. I
Yeah,
could.
yeah, not quite the way that works, but however, it's just it. I find it interesting to talk about because we do come across people in our everyday lives that have some of these traits. We can't start going around labeling people, because it's not fair and genuinely it's not on. But it's about just being able to understand to an extent what it is you're dealing with and making the choice of, well, do I want to attempt to be in a relationship with that, or am I just going to walk away
Yeah.
and kind of be safe? And that's literally the only angle that I come from. So I'm not trying to pin any labels on anybody here. Susan Smith has already got that label on her, and that was already given by professionals, and that's why she's incarcerated, etc., etc. So she's just a good example, which is why I brought her up. Um, but on the hair checklist, and I've split it kind of into two main groups, and the first group being, and they all just kind of fit together is superficial charm. So if you watch Susan, if you watch Erica, if you watch Amber, and then you watch your kind of more spiritual gurus like your Teal Swan and your Sadhguru and people like that, they've all got a certain amount of charm about them, which kind of compels
Yeah.
you to watch them in the first place. You can't deny that it's there. Whether they're attractive, whether they come across well, whether they seem to be saying the right things, even if they're not doing the right things, or if they're doing the right things but well, not saying the right things. And we'll talk about the mismatch as we go on. But that is definitely there. But that's then along there with a grandiosity of kind of the look at me, I'm good, I know what I'm talking about type stuff. Um, and why you should listen to me, why you should believe me, why you should be taken in by what I'm saying and the way that I'm presenting myself. And then the shallow affect, and this for me has been the most interesting one, I think, certainly for the last few weeks, is the shallow affect. It's that being able to change the emotion on the face in the flick of a switch. It's Amber Heard looking at the audience, making faces, then coming back, looking at the person that's asking her questions, like Johnny Depp's solicitor, her solicitor, whatever else, and her face affects just changes just at the click of your fingers.